Lá tudo, né? Feito, né?
What you need, baby? What you need? Yeah, I think it's good. What you feel like eating, baby? Turkey bread.
View from Sky 5, and you know, as you said, Kai, just a lot of at this point, a lot of law enforcement kind of standing around and basically relaxed postures. But it's amazing. You look at all those vehicles. I mean, look. Can you imagine the scene when they all pulled up? You know, probably driving at a high speed. Cars indiscriminately parked all over the place.
Well, also Derek Bell mentioned that, you know, they want us to stay as the media, especially with these helicopter shots, away from the immediate situation, like meaning the building and like the active scene with SWAT, because if someone were inside the building and had access to a television, as Eric had mentioned, Eric Spillman, they don't want to be able to see what they're doing there. So this is just on the perimeter of where the active shootings happen, where the triage is set up initially as well. And we just have to do that because of purposes of what they're doing and safety.
Yeah, and Derek was saying that this is the north side of that campus, so we've got many other areas of the perimeter which we cannot see, and we will not show right now on our broadcast. That I'm sure there's a lot of activity taking place there as well. There's a lot of regular law enforcement officials surrounding this area and trying to keep the public safe.
Yeah, so basically we can assume that the two situations are they're either in the building, and these guys know that, guys and women know that, and then, or they are on the run, and there's nothing you can do when they're on the run.
Yeah, let's go back to Eric Spillman in the newsroom.
Just hearing stories now of what it would like to be inside this facility, the Inland Regional Center, which is a social service agency that provides help to people with autism and other developmental disabilities. They're inside there. There is the sound of gunfire. And an LA Times reporter who's spoken to one of the staff members there says that, you know, some of these people were hiding in a conference room, sheltering in a conference room while this was going on, just trying to stay safe, sheltering in place. There was also a Christmas party reportedly taking place inside the facility at the time that the shooting went on. So normal activities, people trying to help others, a Christmas party, which is, you know, something that would happen this time of year. and then all of a sudden it's interrupted by the sound of gunfire, and you're looking for an area where you can go to save your own life, and a place you can hide so that you won't be the target of whoever's shooting. We mentioned this.
To make it fly down or have witnesses or family
we've had
members there
various
being
reports that
directed to
Governor
the
Jerry
Dome
Brown has
building
been
at the
briefed
Orange Show.
and is monitoring the situation that's happening here in San Bernardino. President Obama has also been briefed at the White House about what briefed by the White House about what's going on.
Personnel check in and check out.
Okay, just want to alert our viewers.
At the Dome building
the
at the Orange
FAA has
Show.
just put in a flight restriction from this area. So at this point, we do not know how much longer Sky 5 is going to be able to bring us images of what's going on here in San Bernardino. He may have to turn around and fly west here to Los Angeles at any time. We just haven't been given the word yet, but the FAA is trying to clear all the air traffic out of there right now.
Now, what would be the purposes of clearing the traffic, the air traffic in that area?
To maybe search for that vehicle that they could have possibly escaped in. We're getting unconfirmed reports that it could. I'm looking at some live blogs taking place at Black GMC Yukon. So again, that's unconfirmed reports, and a no-fly zone could mean that they do not want a lot of traffic in the area. So possibly helicopters, CHP, law enforcement officials can freely navigate the skies in that area.
Well, a bit ironic because there was a pursuit in Beverly Hills last week. If it wasn't for Sky 5, the police never would have found him. So.
Yeah. Well, here it looks like obviously the firefighters still on the scene there too, and it looked like people were starting to gather, as you had mentioned earlier. Hopefully, maybe for a press conference, maybe we can get some information at some point from one of the officers or the active,
It's interesting throughout the rest of the day too. I'm sure that surrounding cities, communities are going to be on alert. San Bernardino, you can get onto any highway in that area. You can make your way towards Los Angeles County. You can make your way south into Riverside County, Imperial County, San Diego County. There's just so many areas that one or two or three of these suspects could flee to. So I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if surrounding areas are definitely under alert at this moment as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this all took place in the 1300 block of Waterman, which has an exit to the 210 freeway.
The information regarding the possible suspect sighting. I heard that Central and Hippie.
If that's where they headed when these three gunmen,
Contact with the
alleged
WC
gunmen,
or vice
escaped. If
versa,
there
and
are
then
three,
we sent down to Loma Linda. There are
Yukon,
several
the black
victims
Yukon
down there
you're
and
talking
no law
about,
enforcement.
they could have popped on one of those freeways and there's no telling
What
where
we
they are at
need
this
is,
point.
I've got.
Well, I think it was confirmed that they were up to
Actually, can
three.
you have somebody give me a 21 and I'll give out those
one of the
locations?
sergeants there, but it's still unconfirmed about victims. When we first got on the scene, a little bit after 11, there were up to 20 victims that we had heard, and obviously the mass shooting. And there have been unconfirmed reports that possibly 12, but we've also seen a number of 3, but none of that has been confirmed. You can see their interesting shot on the left-hand side of our screen. These are the people from inside that building where the police officers and sheriffs have taken them. We saw them earlier coming out of the building with their hands over their head, and we had talked about, in a situation like this, when the shooters go in, and, they could have had the plan like we had talked about, and taking their clothes off, and then just trying to blend and act like nothing's wrong. So
you're the one that
each
came up with that
one, you
information
can
on
bet,
this
is going to be
suspect.
interviewed
So where did you get
and
it from?
probably pat down,
Who was that person?
just to make sure that they had nothing to do with this situation. But imagine being in that building and knowing, and then having to walk out with your hands up, and then going into the, over to the golf course. It just
got that
has to be
info.
so
I just wanted to know where it came from.
and stressful period, but especially in light of what's been going on.
Exactly.
It's like, really, this is happening, really?
It's in our conscience now.
For sure.
Whether you are a French, it's in Europe, but it still is in everyone. The entire world is well aware that we've got terrorist activities taking place. That could be one of the first things you can think about.
Raise the unit with the junior officer Schulke?
When you hear descriptions from victims, they all, I heard some firecrackers or something that I heard. So, and then to wrap your mind around something so heinous taking place, you can't do that. These are rational people. These employees that we're looking at, obviously, we're dealing with irrational people who committed
my
this
understanding is you got this guy's
atrocious
name and date of
crime.
birth and had some notes on where that information comes from.
Of course, Lou, you're absolutely right. They must have been frightened beyond
I talked to a witness who
imagination,
said the guy
cowering in
sitting next to him was a county
stairwells or
worker.
behind a desk,
Was
and
acting a
you're
little weird,
hoping and you're
left
praying,
early,
you're thinking
which
of
he
your
also
loved
thought was
ones.
weird.
You're thinking,
And then,
you know, I've got to
3
stay
minutes
here. I
later, the
can't
shooting
breathe
happened.
loud. I can't make noises.
He
You're
saw a
thinking
match the
if your
same
cell
height and
phone
build
might
as
go off,
the
that
guy
could
that left.
alert one of these
Having
gunmen
name
to
and
come towards you. So
no date of birth.
it must just be an
Okay,
awful
where is that
situation.
witness now?
I know I saw a report where a female, a young girl who works,
He's
she's an
on the
employee or
south
is an
side of the
employee,
golf course with the
and
rest of
she
the people.
texted her
Okay, what's
father,
his name?
shooting at my work, people shot is all he got. And I mean, I think she's okay, but like she just got it off really fast, as quickly as she could to him. So, you know, he would know, but at least there is communication. Like what we saw in Paris in the Bataclan, like people are actually able to tweet out and say, help, people are being shot one by one. You know, so that communication is great to have, especially for law
Broken. I got
enforcement,
last
to be able to utilize that.
But as a
whoever's on
father,
the
it's not
channel,
a text you want to
give
get
it a
from one
break
of
for
your
a
kids
second.
ever.
Ryan, give me the guy, the witness'
Sure.
last name again.
By the way, a lot of the
Robert, Adam,
injured
Mary,
people that have
Ida,
been taken
Robert,
to Arrowhead
Ocean,
Medical
Henry.
Center or Loma
His
Linda
driver's license
University
number is
Medical Center,
Adam
both of those
658
pretty close by.
Loma Linda, a fantastic medical facility. Both are tremendous medical facilities. They best of service. So I'm sure that doctors and nurses are, you know, they're anticipating possibly more patients that could arrive, but that's a difficult situation as well.
We've been on the scene over about the hour and a half, and when we first got on, you know, there was San Bernardino Sheriff, there was San Bernardino City, CHP, then FBI, SWAT, ATF, firefighters. The main trucks have slowly begun to move out a little bit, I think, because they don't necessarily need that situation. The paramedics came in, took care of all the victims, and clearly we're hoping, unless there are victims inside that building that we're not able to see right now, because our cameras are not able to, not allowed. They've asked us not to get close to the building. So mainly now, SWAT is the main unit that's taking over here, and we saw so many of them show up.
Yeah. Incredible show of force.
Yeah.
Taking place. And that's one way, again, they work in such great conjunction with each other, the fire units as well as the law enforcement officials. You can see the fire backing up, allowing SWAT to get in there. The communication between the agencies is so fluid, and that's, again, another sign of tremendous rehearsal, and just cooperation between all those agencies. You have to tip your hats to them.
Yeah, really training for situations they hope they never have to deal with. But unfortunately, today was one of those days where that all came to fruition.
And we're sort of at a lull in this. When earlier it was very active and lots of activity going on, and right now things have just quieted down. I think they've evacuated the majority of the building.
We do have one more RP calling reference to unknown race males removing black clothing on Hunt Lane at the bridge overpass.
Really assess and go into those closets and under the desk. And
all right, let's go to KTLA reporter Chip Yost, who is live on the scene. Chip, what can you tell us?
Well, we just were talking to some of the people who were in that building. They're escorting some of them away right now. You see some of the people walking down here. They've been ordered, we're told, by some of the folks they work with not to talk to the media, but some were telling me off camera that they were just doing a roll call of all the people who are in the building, trying to get a sense of who's in the building, or who's accounted for and who's not. You can see now they're escorting them out somewhere else over this way. But as far as what happened in that building, you guys are getting a lot of it there. They didn't want to share those details. I asked them what they heard, what they saw, and they said they were under orders from their executive director not to say anything. What they did say, they were able to tell me this facility, what it is. We're told that it is a facility where they help developmentally disabled folks. They said that we heard on the way up here that there may have been a job fair going on at the time this happened. When I asked them about that, they said, well, there was a room, I guess they have like a big conference room area that was rented. They said that there was a room that was rented for some activities today. Don't know if that played a role in what happened over here, but they said they weren't sure if it was a job fair or not, but there was a room that was rented out. You see over here now as we're going over this way, many more people still waiting to see what's going to happen with them. As I said, that we're doing a roll call with these folks over here a little bit ago. And you see some of the sheriff's department deputies going on right here. Don't know where they're headed at this point, but you can see a lot of activity around here. This place we're talking about, this facility, you see the train tracks over there. It's just on the other side of the train tracks, what we're told here on Waterman. So that's where all the activity is. And we see something going on here. You see these guys taking off right here as well, but not sure what the activity is that's leaving them out right now.
The street there, I know a lot of times as journalists, when we're on the scene, you can feel the vibe from the officers or firefighters or paramedics. Is it somewhat calm, but now the SWAT officers are running?
Yeah, like I said, they're going the direction they're going right now. That's toward the building where this incident happened. That's where those two officers we saw just a moment ago go out. And like I said, we've got San Bernardino police out here, San Bernardino County Sheriff's, other agencies. As I was coming down here on the freeway, a few cars from other agencies. I didn't recognize which agencies they were, but they were going sirens on full speed towards this direction. But don't know the situation as far as the status of what the gunmen or gunmen are right now.
And Chip, your camera guy, whoever's out there with you, just showed a woman being put on a gurney. So there are still people, victims, who are wanting to be put in the ambulance and possibly feel like they have injuries or maybe stress. Or have you seen that?
That's likely. It's hard to see from my perspective. I have not seen that. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure what we're hearing is that it's going on all over the place around here.
Chip, can you give us an idea of how large of an area they have sealed off where all this is taking place?
At this point, one call only from
here. This is Waterman,
relative of an employee.
The building we're talking about,
We're
just on the other side
with Pat
of
now,
the
and
train
they're
tracks
confirming
over
they are
there.
code
Right
4
over
at
here,
this
you
time.
have
There's
an
no
area where
checking
they've
code
staged
4
all the people that were evacuated from the building where this shooting happened. But if I kind of pan around this way, I'm going to turn you around here. This is toward Orange Show Drive over here, and Orange Show is really where they have it cut off on this end over here. So if you see down there, we actually saw as I was coming in, I overheard somebody talking to somebody who was sounded like they were trying to get a family member on the phone who works down here in the building affected. They were trying to see if they were in there, if they were okay. So this is the area we're talking about. And I'm sure as you look this direction, it's a similar picture if you go the other direction.
That's right. I forgot, Chip, you don't have a camera guy with you. You are the camera guy out there. You're one man banding it. So thank you for that.
And Chip, have you bumped into a public information officer?
And what did you
have
ask for?
Talked to you about a press conference or any updates?
No. I literally got here just a few minutes ago and was trying to get as much information as I could. And most of my information came from these people, some of the, not the exact people, but the people who were in the building. They gave me some limited info, but didn't want to get in trouble with their executive director, I guess, by telling me too much. But the main information I had were from these people you see in here that are still trying to get out of here.
And when you spoke to them, did they seem rattled, or did they seem somewhat like a little bit better? And you said they didn't want to share a lot of information, that they've been told not to share information?
Yeah, like I said, they said they wanted, I guess they want one source of information. And
traffic that you had over there on
not to talk to the media. From what we understand, I mean, you can tell from all the people there, we've heard some reports that, you're talking about a building of hundreds of people that work there. So a lot of people in there, and then you add to that this event they had going on, whatever it was, whether it was a job fair or something else, bringing even more people into this facility. So a lot of people into this facility at the time this happened. How much each one of them, we don't know. We did hear reports that people were hiding under desks and that kind of thing.
Sammy, we're going to stand by down here on South Waterman.
Yeah, Chip, the LA Times is tweeting that the San Bernardino Police Department used a robot to detonate a suspicious device that was found on the premises. Any information or any talk that there was actually was a live explosive device, or was it a dummy?
Don't know. We heard that same report as we were coming down here. I believe it was KNX's reporting that they were evacuating that building because of the bomb squad coming in to detonate a device, a suspicious device, but don't know if that was a live device or just something, that happens a lot in these situations where they're not sure what it is, so they're going to take care of it as carefully as possible.
I'm 97, the command post area with
All right, Chip Yost, live on the scene there, which continues to be a bit of a chaotic
I'd
situation.
like for you and Nick to come down and
The
give me
SWAT
the
team has
tactical
gone
PD,
into the building to
at
evacuate
Business Center Waterman.
anybody that might be left, as well as
Copy
search
that.
for the 3 gunmen. But we are getting reports that if there were 3 gunmen, they may have been seen leaving the scene very quickly in
Hey,
an
Trav, we're just going to
SUV.
stay here on South Waterman
And
until we get
at this
further.
point have pretty much evaporated and vanished. We have no idea where they could be at this time. At least 20
Hey, Travis,
shooting victims that we know of.
in case we got to go anywhere. We'll stay in
We
the
know there
tunnel.
are fatalities. We just don't know have an exact number at this point. But the shooting victims were taken to Arrowhead Medical Center as well as Loma Linda University Hospital, who were expecting a lot of folks to come in, a lot of victims. We just don't know the exact numbers at this point. And again, this is a very active scene out there. This all started just before 11 o'clock at the Inland Regional Center, which
Okay, we're going to go back with the original.
kind of helps train people for jobs that have
We're
disabilities.
going to go back with the original plan. Inland Valley is going to go over
Let's go back to
stages
Chip.
one
It looks
show.
like
You guys are going to stay here,
Chip?
and then I'm going to put together a quick response.
Tell me, what did you see?
Quick
What
response
happened there?
to respond to some of these calls.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you tell us? All right. Well, yeah, he looked like. Sorry about that. Looks like.
Travis Murray, I got a
we're trying to get some information from that gentleman because you saw told him not to talk to us. So again, that's kind of the situation it's been with the people. As we were talking earlier, trying to figure out what was going on here.
And Chip, what are they exactly doing? These people are working the building and they're in line here. Are they in line to release them to get their car, or why are they in line?
Okay, copy that.
And Lincoln.
No, what they were doing just a little while ago,
Do
they were
you have
actually doing a
anybody
roll
who can
call.
do
They
an
were going
exterior
through
check? We
names
have
of
some
people they
elderly
knew who were
residents
in
that
the
are
building,
inside
trying to see, if
a building
everyone was
important
accounted for, who
or
wasn't
center need
accounted for,
assistance
to try to basically just get the head count, because this is obviously a chaotic situation when this happened. And they were trying to figure out who was where,
They said multiple
basically, and then
elderly
after they got
subjects.
kind
I
of
don't know
different
how
people's
many
names, then they kind of are putting them in this line here and sending them off somewhere else. The folks who are still waiting to be accounted for and taken away over here, you see, we still have, I would say, well over 100 people, that's a guesstimate, but it looks to me, with the people spread out in different areas, well over 100 people still waiting to get out of here.
All right, Chip, thank you so much. We'll check back in with you. Chip is on the ground for us there at this active scene. And Derek Bell's in Sky 5. Derek, any new information on this supposed SUV?
Well, actually, we were just listening to CHP talking to one another. Apparently, there's a number of different calls that were coming out, possible spottings of some suspect vehicles. One of the things that we were looking at was a Yukon, a black Yukon that was spotted just a short distance away near the 10 freeway. Apparently, they sent down some units there. They could not find what they were looking for. We spotted that area. We did not see any police activity at that time. So we are getting, actually, law enforcement is getting a number of different calls of possible sightings of possible suspects, and they're trying to run down each one of those as it comes in. But with more and more coming in, it's stretching their resources a little bit more thinly. Now, as you can see, we're back to the area where the major staging area is, right out in front of the Inland Center. And as you can see, we've got a rather static situation. The SWAT is inside, and they have spotted what they call that improved explosive device, that IED, and they're taking a look at that with the robot. That was the last we heard. We haven't heard if they have decided it was actually an explosive device or not, but their suspicious device is on scene, and they're looking at it right now. See, that SWAT is still in the area. We heard that they were shuttling some people out of one of the buildings, and we heard also that other people were sheltering.
Okay, Derek,
calls and texts on their cell phones.
Derek, hate to cut you off, but we have Mark Studi on the phone with us, who actually works at the Inland Regional Center, and his daughter also works there. Mark, what can you tell us?
Well, we don't work for Inland Regional Medical Center. The Inland Regional Center. We work for the County of San Bernardino. It was the county function that was going on in the building, and they went into, it was like a Christmas party, award party that we were having. And I'm off today, but my daughter was there. And so what I heard is that she went to the restroom and she called me she was huddled up in the restroom, and that 3 gunmen came in and they started shooting people in, colleagues that I work with.
Were they specifically targeting people that were at this party?
I believe so. I don't know if it was random or whatever it was.
And what, she had gone to the restrooms, does she see the shooters?
No, she was huddled down. It was her and another colleague that she was huddled down with in the restroom. They just heard the shots, and that's when she gave me a call. She's all, "Dad, they're shooting. Please call 911." And that's what I did. I hung up. I told her to stay there, don't move. I called 911, and then San Bernardino PD told me that they were already aware of this situation and that they already had police on the scene.
So she was at the party, but she just happened to be in the restroom when all this started. So she wasn't in the room. Oh, well, that's very fortunate for your daughter.
Now, have you talked to her since then?
I have a couple times. I'm heading back. I'm in LA right now. I'm heading back, and I'm going to go there and see. My wife is on scene. Also, she's with her, so she's safe. They just have them across the street at the golf course, which is directly across the street from where it happened.
And does she say what's happening on the golf course? Are they just doing interviews, assessing maybe that, make sure that certain people weren't involved and trying to clear that?
I believe so. I don't know exactly what's going on. I tried to call her. She called me about maybe
Hunts Lane, around the overpass area.
10-4. And all units on Channel 2 for information patrol is going to be dispatched on Channel 3. Patrol will be dispatched on Channel 3. All calls reference the shooting will be on 2, and of course 1 will be open for that.
One Adam 3, Fort Charlie 14 or X-ray 1, are you over here?
King.
40 King 6, go ahead.
One more RP calling in saying westbound Redlands from Hunts, a black SUV 23103 within the last 2 to 3.
Copy, we'll pass it to King 1. 11038, we are 97 there right now, and we're UTL. You can cancel 40 King for that.
10 for 40 King, copy.
Great, thank you.
Do you have anyone checking for that car? Sounds like 40 King just checked UTL.
Charlie 7, I'm 97, 250 East Highland.
Copy.
5 Yellow Tom King 782. Sam 18 Lincoln 6. Sam 18 to Lincoln 6. Go ahead. Hey, I need 87 with you. In a meeting, I'll be right out. Copy.
Just 1, negative for 07 Chrysler Rialto. Sam 3.
Contact Allied Agency dispatch centers. Advise them that when their people are clearing this location, they need to go over to the orange show to be checked out before they clear.
Copy.
Charlie 7, that vehicle checks code 4.
Charlie 7, copy.
Sam 3.
Sam 3.
If you can raise, I believe it's Sam 8, Sergeant Gates, have her go to 5, please.
Sam 8. Sergeant Gates.
Hey, you're 13, I'm with the blue truck in the parking lot, clear for the plate. Personal line.
Go ahead.
Frank, Nora, David, Adam, Paul, Adam, Lincoln, occupied one time, white male.
Can you release Lieutenant Walker?
Lincoln 6.
21, standby 1.
The SWAT teams are actually doing right now inside those buildings as they try to secure the situation. On the bottom of your screen, you see KNPC reporting as many as 3 dead. Authorities simply saying we do have some fatalities. We do want to go to the scene right now. NBC's Miguel Almaguer is on the phone. Miguel, what can you tell us?
Has been cleared.
Hey, Lester, good evening. We can tell you here, we just arrived on scene. It is a very active crime scene. There are several police helicopters in the air. As you likely know, they have told our affiliate to back their helicopter away. Seems to show some type of indication that they are searching for a suspect. I can tell you, officers here on the ground, even several blocks away from where this incident took place, are heavily armed. They have rifles, they have shotguns, and they are trying to keep the public back as far as they can. There's also several ambulances here on scene. So clearly, this is still a very active scene here, Lester, as police are trying to coordinate their response from here.
And what about people who are trying to get to the scene? I can only imagine if you've been watching TV or you know someone that works in this building, your desire would be to check on your loved one. Have you seen people coming there?
Certainly, Lester, there are dozens and dozens of people here at the edge of the street, as far as they can, as close as they can get, at least through police, here waiting for any type of information. It's unclear if these are possible parents or family members of some of the victims or the potential victims or folks who know people that may work inside the building. But the area is also lined here with pedestrians who are clearly looking and anticipating more information about the scene.
All right, we're going to Tom Costello now in Washington. Tom, as we noted, the president has been notified of what's going on here. Members of Congress, leadership have responded. What about federal law enforcement? To what extent do we know that they might be getting involved here?
Lester, ATF and FBI are already on the scene and responding. I can you that we know that the assistant director of the FBI LA field office is personally responding. So is the special agent in charge of the entire LA division. He will be on the scene shortly, we are told. To pick up on the conversation you were having earlier about mass shootings in this country when you were talking to Clint Van Zandt, the Washington Post pointing out that this would, believe it or not, be the second mass shooting today alone. There was another one earlier today in Savannah, Georgia, in which one person was killed and 3 people were injured. And we have a count of about 375 people killed so far this year in mass shooting incidents in this country alone. And by the way, today is the 18th anniversary of that high school shooting in Paducah, Kentucky. And in that particular case, a 14-year-old, as you may recall, killed 3 suspects, injured 5. He went to prison. He's now 32 years old.
All right, Tom Costello, let's go back to the scene. Miguel Almaguer, you have some more news?
Yeah, Lester, we know that the SWAT team has been here for some time, but I can tell you there's also a heavy presence from the bomb squad. We just saw 3 bomb squad technicians in 3 different vehicles roll past us at a very high speed. So they are certainly trying to get to the crime scene here. We had heard reports that it's possible the suspects may have left some type of explosive devices in the building. Police certainly taking that very seriously as those officers now move in.
Yeah, that jibes, Miguel, with what we heard from a police lieutenant interviewed on KNBC a while ago. He said that they are looking for secondary devices, which I'm not sure his terminology, if he's referring to they had found other devices, but nonetheless, they've got to look for anything suspicious. And then again, that is standard protocol in these sorts of situations. We all, of course, are anxious to hear about injured, about casualties, about whether the shooter or shooters are in custody, but those answers will come slowly as was put out. It's all right now about the safety of those who are working this scene and any innocent person who may still be in there. And so we will watch this unfold. The helicopters have been asked, I believe this is tape you're looking at, the helicopters have been asked to move back to allow the police to do what they do and to do their tactical maneuvers. They search room to room, floor to floor inside that facility. If you were with us very early in the coverage, the initial reports we were getting from police, 1 to 3 suspects, some of the radio traffic seemed to indicate multiple suspects. We don't know that to be the case. We have to assume this came from people, witnesses who were there, who were coming out, as to what they heard or what they surmised from what they heard. But police, of course, have to go on every possibility, including the worst possibility that there was more than one shooter and that they are still inside that facility. And there go the caution that we're seeing and the methodical nature of how they respond to these sorts of things. San Bernardino police, of course, there, along with county sheriff and other law enforcement agencies, have responded here. Some members of SWAT teams were told coming in on their time off, their day offs, to join here in this search. We saw some of them go by in one of those armored Bearcat vehicles, much like we saw play out only a few days ago in Colorado Springs at the shooting there. This is a situation that these departments have practiced and have planned for, and they're carrying it out, unfortunately, under these horrible circumstances. In terms of casualties, again, KNBC reporting at least 20 injured, at least 3 dead. The only indication we have officially is that they do have some fatalities. The spokesman, though, declined to offer a number, noting that they're still getting a handle on exactly what they're seeing here. You've seen a number of people in these videos on stretchers and some being walked in. They were apparently carried from the scene. We don't know if they had come out of the building on their own. They were scooped up into civilian vehicles or what have you. But clearly this medical triage facility or makeshift facility was set up in the street there, and that is where they were initially brought. We believe all of those who were brought there, police at that point, have now been removed to hospitals, either via helicopter or ambulance, and are receiving treatment. What we don't know, and frankly what we fear for, is what officers may find inside the building. There's only a rough description of a shooter who is reported to be wearing tactical gear, perhaps a ballistic vest. As far as the type of weapon, there's some speculation, but it would seem to be something capable of pumping out a lot of bullets at a rapid fire. We're watching KNBC's coverage out of Los Angeles. Let's dip back in and listen.
I don't know if she heard gunshots or if someone told her, but she immediately went and hid in a back office somewhere with some other people, and they locked themselves in.
And again, to reiterate what he just said, he got word that his daughter is safe. She was escorted out of the building, but she was hiding in there.
Hiding in the back office with a few other people. I'd imagine being there in the workplace doing your job, and all of a sudden you're hearing multiple gunshots being fired off.
Yeah, absolutely terrifying. We're hearing that the San Bernardino Board of Supervisors is holding an emergency meeting that will take place. Actually, it's just getting underway. We're told 1 o'clock today to talk about this shooting, and we're also told that San Bernardino County plans to issue a statement after that meeting.
And again, Loma Linda Hospital confirmed.
We're going to cut away from KNBC's coverage now. Right now, we're joined on the phone by Olivia Bozak. She's the Department of Public Affairs for the San Bernardino County Sheriff. Olivia, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Tell us what we know right now, what you know right now.
So what we know is that this incident really happened around 11 o'clock today, so around 2 hours ago. There's an active shooter at the Inland Regional Center, and that's a place where they do training for special needs, autistic, mentally and physically impaired. There's an active shooter there. So far, from what San Bernardino PD has told us, that we have confirmed at least 1 to 3 possible suspects, and we have multiple victims. So right now, our SWAT team is clearing the building, getting everybody out, and getting everybody out and away from the building.
In terms of those casualty numbers, could you be more specific? Are there any deaths?
We're hearing from the news that there are deaths, but I haven't confirmed anything from San Bernardino PD. They haven't told us of any casualties there.
And we had heard the 1 to 3 suspects earlier. They are clearing this building. Are there indications that the shooters are still there, or is this a precaution and the belief is that they've made their escape?
They don't know yet. That's why they're still doing the systematic search of the building. So once they determine that, then I'm sure that they'll provide another update. but I just saw her. She just went on the news right now, and she was saying that they don't have much to update. It's just multiple fatalities. We don't have a number yet, and a lot of people injured.
The people, we've seen pictures of some of the injured people. Perhaps you've seen them as well. Do we know if those are people who ran out of the building and then were therefore rescued?
I'm not sure if they were in the building at the time or outside of the building.
And how many people would have been in this building at this time? Do we have any idea?
I don't think we don't know the number of people because it's 3 rather large buildings. So I don't know about the employee numbers.
San Bernardino PD is obviously the lead law enforcement here because it's in their community. Your folks supporting them. Are your SWAT teams on the ground there as well?
Copy. Yes, they are. Our SWAT teams, as well as multiple nearby agencies and other counties that are coming out.
Okay. All right, Olivia Bose, thank you so much for joining us. And please, if you have more information, we would love to hear back from you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Olivia Bozek, Department of Public Affairs, San Bernardino County, confirming largely what we have heard so far, and that as many as 3 suspects in this, that there are multiple victims. There has been a loss of life, but we don't have numbers right now. The SWAT team is clearing. This is a far back picture now as the choppers have moved back, pointing in the direction of that facility right now where those SWAT teams are making their way through the buildings and clearing and making sure there's no suspects or any explosive devices or booby traps of any kind. We heard a description of one suspect wearing body armor and tactical gear. But again, all this right now is very murky. The first order of business in these cases is to secure the area and make sure no one else is hurt. And so a lot of the answers are going to have to wait in terms of numbers of casualties. SWAT teams, not only from San Bernardino PD, but also the San Bernardino Sheriff have joined in this operation to work their way around. As you can see, there's the way that complex is laid out, numerous buildings there, a large parking lot. Many of those who evacuated out were brought across to that golf course you saw just a moment ago. And the camera now pushing into the intersection that seems to be largely the command post of this operation. People are now being led out. Many of these may have been some of those who were evacuated from the building. They're trying to clear their area. At the same time, they're trying to stop people from coming there who want to check on loved ones. The nature of these sorts of things has changed in this era of rapid communications, and some of the first things we see are tweets purportedly coming from inside these locations, and of course the ability to text loved ones and friends get often very fast word of something like this happening, and we've certainly been monitoring some of those. Clint Van Sant is with us. Clint, as we noted, the helicopters have pulled back. Again, in this era of rapid communication, it has to be a real concern from law enforcement as they're doing a delicate tactical operation like this, that the suspect or suspect are keeping a very close tab on the information as well as to their whereabouts.
Well, they are, Lester. We have seen too many situations where we've had perhaps hostage or barricade situations where the subject or subjects are inside of the barricaded situation, watching on television, watching the tactical teams move, try to get in position to come in and make that rescue. Right now, there's multiple sources giving out a description of a SUV, a black SUV that was allegedly seen leaving the area with upwards of 3 people. Now, as you and I previously discussed, that number is really in flux right now. Whether people saw 3 get in, whether they saw 1 get in, or whether, like in the case of the DC sniper, and everybody saw a white van that had nothing to the situation, we don't know. But there's enough police cars on the street right now, Lester. They need to look for something. And one of the things they're looking for is that black SUV on the chance it may be related to this situation.
You're watching NBC News live coverage of the mass shooting in San Bernardino, California. Some stations will return to regular programming. For others, NBC News coverage continues.
Here at Windsor and Baseline, Roxbury, that neighborhood.
And again, this is the scene from San Bernardino.
1013.
Lincoln 6 is looking for you.
Station 1 school feeding.
Go ahead.
How's the command post on?
You broke. Try it again.
Can report through our dispatch, possible guy in fatigues at the Waterman Discount Mall. We've got several of our units rolling that way now.
Separ, just advise on channel 2.
We're going to report from Roberts Elementary of possible camouflaged subject with a headset on at the Waterman Discount Mall. We've got several of our units rolling that way now.
Copy.
Tom, I'm inside DSO's command post, just north of my car. Copy, I'll be there in 5. Hey, Trev, I'll see him before you. You want me to just relay the information? Thanks. Charlie 7, northbound, Roxbury, from Windsor Drive, long beard, tactical shorts, and a backpack northbound.
I'm sorry, you were partially covered. Is that now, or is that just the info from the witness?
Witness, we contacted him. He's pretty upset.
Copy. And the front of it was cut out. So Middle Eastern male?
Hey, from long beard, didn't know if it was a camouflage type shorts, but similar to.
Copy.
Sam 6, Gilbert to Pacific, checks negative for that subject.
10-6, copy.
1274 Roxbury.
Last unit that said Roxbury? I'm sorry, who exited the south building?
OT team.
Copy, exited the south building. Last unit that had info about Roxbury?
Charlie 7.
I copied your traffic. Was there someone else that was talking about it?
No, we were flagged down by a frantic citizen giving us that description, which was last seen northbound on Windsor towards Gilbert.
I copied.
Baker, 25 D Street, gate, please. Charlie 7, can we start 40 King if they're able to?
Affirm. Did they mention something about a gun or no?
They didn't say. 4.
Ida 34.
I'll be out at the Waterman Discount Mall. There's unconfirmed reports of somebody that's arming on the east side to the rear of the mall. I'm out there. I'm accompanied by school PD. We do have rifles.
Copy. 40 King, are you on this channel?
Charlie 19, checking 2 to the front of the station.
Charlie 19, copy.
Charlie 7, 40 King's around to us. You can divert it to the discount mall. There's up here by the courthouse.
I copy. 40 King, station 1.
few blocks away. That is an earlier a map showing you the scene right there. You can see the sprawling parking lot, the number of buildings involved. And they're being searched right now by SWAT teams who their first order of business right now is to secure the scene. What they have found so far inside the building in terms of any other possible casualties or anything the suspect or suspects have left behind. And I keep saying suspects because the initial reports, and we heard a moment ago, they are still looking at the possibility of 1 to 3 suspects, and also there is a beyond the lookout Ebola alert for a black SUV that may be related to this. Let's dip back into the coverage of KNBC now.
This one, such a tense situation this morning. Words of shot 11:04 this morning, and it was an active shooter situation. The word went out. Law enforcement responded. You're looking at pictures of people who were inside the Inland Regional Center. This is where it all happened, and these were employees and perhaps clients who were being evacuated from the building this morning, and it is a very difficult process.
Okay, let's take you out to the scene. That picture there, pretty new, of the school bus, and from what I understand, they're possibly loading folks who were inside that building onto that bus, taking them to the Shell station that Megan had up for us live from New Chapel Forward not too long ago. She's making their way over to perhaps a home, a business we don't know at this point, over at Fair Oaks Avenue in Pasadena, a SWAT situation that she says could be related to what is happening here in San Bernardino. Folks are being told to stay away from that area, though we don't have specifics here for you. But again, a SWAT situation happening on Fair Oaks Avenue in Pasadena. Megan Reyes on her way over to the scene of News Channel 4.
Yeah, she told us probably about 10 minutes away now at this point. She works her way over there. There have been different reports about what happened here, and we did hear that some witnesses reported seeing a black Yukon leave the scene here. We are not able to confirm that with San Bernardino police, but it's not really confirming any details for us other than to tell us this is an active shooter situation and they're asking people to stay away from the scene. They are telling family members to respond to the Hernandez Center. That's at 222 North Lugo Avenue, near the corner of Sierra Way and East 3rd Street. So the Hernandez Center is the meeting point for people looking to connect with family members. But we don't know at this point what is going on in Pasadena, although the early word is it is believed to be connected to this active shooter situation in San Bernardino. Very unusual. Obviously, you can't help but think about the instances that have been happening globally when we talk about the terror events in Paris. And,
you broke. Try it again.
You know, everyone on heightened alert because of
We've been listening for briefly to coverage on KNBC in Los Angeles of this shooting in San Bernardino, this mass shooting, and you've heard them mentioning a situation that may be taking place in Pasadena, California, involving a SWAT operation that may be related to this. Pasadena is about a little over an hour's drive from San Bernardino. It's there in the Los Angeles area. We don't know the connection right now, but as you heard, KNBC is reporting that. We will follow that. They've got someone en route there, and we'll hear from them very shortly. So whether these dots are connected or not, we should learn before long. The latest reports we're getting now from San Bernardino itself, a police spokesperson telling our sister network CNBC the attackers just went in the doors and began shooting. And noted that there's at least 100 officers on the scene there who have, many of them have secured the perimeter while the SWAT teams work the actual buildings themselves doing this methodical clearing operation. We don't know what they have found in terms of casualties inside. We know that there are reports of at least 20 people who were injured. We heard from a hospital there in the area that has received already 4 adult patients, expects 3 more. Presumably other hospitals will be receiving casualties as well. Authorities have confirmed there are deaths, but we don't know how many. Let's go back to KNBC.
I really can't tell you. I only heard shots. I'm sorry. I can't really tell you. I didn't see anything.
Is there a similar call to this at Amazon?
Just gunfire.
There was a report of that. We just called inside there. They are code 4.
And that there from someone shortly after the shooting, that sound being shot rolled by our photographer there on the scene, Alex Vasquez. So again, didn't see a gunman, heard multiple shots. Obviously, is still trying to process that what happened, and she's being ushered out of that building.
We're getting a little more information about the situation in Pasadena. NBC4 reporter Gotti Schwartz tells us there is a perimeter being set up now at the Waterman Discount Mall, which is near schools. We know this is Fair Oaks Avenue.
Look at this.
And we're getting word that this could be related to this an active shooter situation taking place here in San Bernardino at the Inland Regional Center.
We're also getting word that there are U.S. Marshals being dispatched to that scene as well. And the Waterman Discount Mall is, North Waterman Avenue, East Olive Street is to the north, and 9th Street there to the south. It's near E. Neil Roberts Elementary School, which is to the south, as well as Sierra High School.
Yeah, a lot of schools in that area.
So again, that there, a second scene, we're getting that information there from our NBC4's Gotti Schwartz. John Pettis Klimak is on his way to the scene. In that Pasadena scene as well. Making waves live over
the guy ran northbound towards
Lester, hold back in New York as we continue to cover this unfolding situation in Southern California.
Went north.
Copy.
Any description on that guy?
For units at Waterman Discount Mall, any description?
Sam 6, he had some sort of camouflage jacket and brown khaki pants on.
Copy his race.
7.
X-ray 7.
The deputies are advising that they're sending units to the San Bernardino section of the Amazon just to check it.
10-4.
Gun, but are stating that he was kind of a baggy clothing.
Are you with Sheriff?
I am not. I got 4 PD guys.
Oh, copy. Perfect.
Copy.
North of the discount mall. On Olive, I believe.
Sam 6, did you copy that?
I copy. Said they hadn't heard anything. I'll be 10-8.
Copy.
Ray, that description kind of match what you've been getting? Yeah, it's pretty close. Yeah, they're close for with him. Through the ball.
Copy. Sam 30, Sergeant Murray, Station 1. Coming out the front door.
Could be civilians who are hiding in the back.
Copy.
It's call number 6167. Sam 30.
Go ahead. Sam 13, go ahead.
Can one of you guys give us 21 at 5761?
Copy. I do not.
Okay, could you just 21 dispatch, please?
Copy. Sam 29.
Sam 29.
Can you call community and see if they have a bed for a walk-in and advise them that we would really appreciate if they can make room so we can go tonight?
Copy. Sam 22, you get 22.
Sam 30, if you're looking for me, I'm trying to call dispatch now.
Tower 5761, she's waiting there.
I copy, thank you.
Make these rare as opposed to normal.
Got to get fuel real quick, and then we'll be clear to respond to calls.
This is something that just happens in the ordinary course of events, because it doesn't happen.
Get Detective Rubalcaba to 5, please.
The president there is sounding like this was a shooting incident, a mass shooting incident, not necessarily a terrorism incident, but again, we don't know the detail of that as of yet. The president's still waiting for word about what happens as these events continue to unfold. We know that the president has been very, very concerned about this issue, speaking out on it as recently as yesterday in Paris at that climate summit, where he made the comparison to the enormous effort that this country makes to stop terrorism and the carnage that causes. Yet at the same time, he says that we do less and certainly should do more, he says, to stop these kinds of mass shootings. We know that the president and his team at the White House have been looking through various executive actions that he might take, administrative actions that he might take in the interest of gun safety. But at this point, the last guidance from the White House, I believe, was that there's nothing imminent on that front. But again, this may drive that conversation. The president hoping that this will spark more conversation and mostly some action to try and stop this carnage in the United States.
All right, Ron, we're still trying to get a handle on casualties here. We know that Loma Linda Medical Center had received 4 adults, was expecting 3 more. I'm seeing here that another hospital, Arrowhead Regional Medical Center, was treating 6 patients. So that's what we have right now, anecdotally from 2 of what could be several hospitals treating patients from the scene. These buses have been brought in the last 20 minutes or so, and we believe they are going to be used to take away those who had been evacuated out of these buildings.
Charlie David Adam 113.
Middle of this. Let's go back to Tom Costello. Tom.
Well, all I can add to that is essentially picking up on the president's comments. They continue to await information from the authorities in Los Angeles and the resources of the FBI and the ATF and any other agency that might be able to contribute are, of course, being deployed and fully utilized at this point. I did want to make one correction to my earlier comments regarding the first, if you will, or one of the most recent first mass shootings, which was actually 18 years ago yesterday, not today. That was in Paducah, Kentucky. So that's when a young man killed 3 students and injured 5. It occurred 18 years ago yesterday, not today, but he is in prison. And also, these numbers from the Centers for Disease Control really put this into perspective. The number of violent gun deaths between 2005 and 2013, according to the CDC, 279,000 in the United States, 279,000 in the United States so far this year, 375 victims of gun violence in terms of mass shootings. That puts it into context, the total numbers of individuals that we're looking at right now, Lester.
All right, Tom, this is taking place at the Inland Regional Center in San Bernardino. We have on the phone with us now Patrick Simpson. His daughter is an intern at that facility. And Patrick, we understand that she is still hidden inside and is texting you. And before we continue this conversation, we don't want to do anything that puts her in jeopardy. But can you characterize what you're hearing from your daughter, and is she okay?
She seems to be okay. She hasn't texted within probably the last maybe 15, 20 minutes. I talked to her on the phone about an hour,
6215 is Julie.
She was, when I called her, of course, when I got her text and I heard what was going on, I called her and she grabbed the phone and she was whispering and said that she was in a room with 9 other people and she was at the